Okay, there we go. So, welcome everybody to our first actual real presentation. Oh, we got more people. If you're here for the Magic Maker program, we're just getting started. Okay, cool. So, our presentation today is on the Magic Maker program, aka personalized postmortem. What is personalized? I'll answer that question in like a couple minutes. So, hold your horses. But first, before we get on to our future presentation here, we have more people. Awesome. Hello, people. We're getting started here. Rock Game Fest. That's this Saturday. Rock Game Fest is happening. This is an awesome networking opportunity. You don't want to miss it. You can meet developers that are local to Rochester. Student developers will be there too. So you can get to know students who are making games here at RIT. Some really cool stuff. Check out Jam Jam and Jelly. It should be there. I love Jam Jam and Jelly. Russ is a great guy. He makes cool games. Go play that. And you can also be at Rock Game Fest next time it comes around if you apply to present your project. So lots of applications are going to be discussed today. But Rock Game Fest, check it out. That's this Saturday. So, okay, here's a presentation for you now, the Magic Maker program. So, again, by show of hands, because we have some new people. How many people here have heard of the Magic Maker program? Okay, so like about a third of the people here know what the Magic Maker program is. So, what is it? It is it's a program here at RIT. You've probably heard of the Magic Building. I'd be very surprised if you go to RIT and you don't know about the Magic Center. There is a program there that will fund your project. It can be a co-op. We'll get on that later. They will fund your project, and you can work on it as a co-op, basically. And there are like different ways that this can shake out. So we'll get into that. But also something important to note here: it doesn't really have to be a game. It could be like a film of some kind, as long as it's digital media. It will. Awesome. Thank you for the mouse. You're welcome. As long as it's a digital media project, they'll take it. So yes, that's the long and short of it, is that you get paid to work on a game, and it's a co-op. So yeah, as it says here, it's a co-op. It doesn't have to be full time. I highly recommend doing it full time because part time is kind of a nightmare experience. I think Andrew can talk about that more if we have time for that later. But yeah, generally, most people work on it full time if they get in the program. And you basically, the other big thing about Magic is that you work with Rockstar. Yeah, like Rockstar Game Studio, developers from Rockstar will give you feedback on your project. And that's all the projects, not just the games. They'll talk with you about your films as well. So yeah, basically, it's a very, very big opportunity, especially because a lot of co-ops, especially like career fair stuff, is not game developer oriented, right? Like you'll see this fall career fair that's coming up in a couple of weeks. There's not going to be a lot of game studios there. So if you want to work on a game as a co-op, Magic Maker is a great option. So with that out of the way, what is personalized and what does that have to do with Magic Maker? Well, personalized, it's a survival horror game that me and a couple other people here or who will be here worked on for the entire last school year. And we put it through the Magic Maker program. And we're going to tell you all about the development of personalized as I went through the program. Yeah, so what was our development cycle like, right? There were 9 of us, right? 9 team members. That's a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot, you know, when you consider it like a big game studio. But for a student team, that's very large. We developed it for about a year, starting in June of last year, made it easy. We were at Rock Game Fest last year, so a little bit of collusion there, I guess. And we were at Imagine RIT just a few months ago in the spring. And then we published it on itch this past summer, so you can play it. If you Google it right now, I suggest you wait until the end of the presentation, but you can play it, I guess, if you really, really, really want to. But it was messy. It was so very messy. A lot went wrong. Some things went right. We learned a lot, but it was a messy time. So let's start off with the very basic idea here. Don't just make something to bring to the Magic Maker program. Um, you want to already have something that you're working on, something that you think is worthy of the program, basically. Because if you see that Magic is accepting deadlines and you're like, I want to work on something, that would be really cool to work on for the Magic Maker program. Just like an idea pops in your head after you see that, oh, they're accepting applications in a month. That's a bad idea. Don't do that. That's a terrible idea. It could work out if you know what you're doing, and if you're a solo developer and you scale well. But like, if you're thinking, oh, I should just make something just for Magic, don't do that. And if you're like early on and you're like, oh, I just started this project, but I want to get in the Makers program, that would be so cool. Don't do that either. Make sure that you're working on something that has a good base to work off of. And the problem is we did that. We rushed for the Makers program. And so here comes demo number 1 of what we started with in the program, right? So I will stop sharing for a second here. Yes, we're going to see the very original personalized build. Oh boy, I hope this isn't too loud. Wait, is this the original? Is it already 640 by 480? I need to share this for the Zoom crew. Oh yeah, that's the very original build. Okay. So Zoom people, 1 moment, please. Yes, okay. So Zoom people, can you see this okay? Okay, awesome. Zoom people can see okay. So here's the very original build. Mouse sensitivity is very high. I just need the mouse here. Right. So okay. Oh, that's very high. Okay, that's a little better for me. Right. So as you can see, this is very basic, very boxy. We have a couple different environmental thingies here. We've got our pipes, we have our ceiling lights that don't emit any light themselves, but cast light on the floor. Then we have our little door here. As you can see, very boxy, very basic. If we showed you like the sky, the sky view of like the layout of this level, it's very small, it's very basic. And I'm regretting not including that presentation. But if we get scanned by the door here, ooh, we can't get through, there's a threat detected. That's bad. We can't open this door either. Uh-oh. That's not good. Okay. And also we're very slow. We can't run. That's not very good. I think we can crouch, yes. We'll crouch later. Oh, this was before crouching was added. That's interesting. Ooh, why is it? Yeah, see, this is very old, very buggy because we were rushing for Magic. So keep that in mind. Yes, ooh. But here we introduce the core mechanic. Right, so if we press Q, third person. Oh, but there's a thingy behind us. Oh, it was there the whole time. Ooh. Oh, scary. Oh, but look, there's a code. Yeah, okay, yeah. 0451. Awesome. Now we can get through the door. Also, yeah, you can see animations are a little stiff. Very, very basic. I don't think the player even has textures yet. No, this is gray. This is what we submitted to get into Magic. Don't do this. Please don't do this. But we're getting over here to this other dispenser. Right. Right. Okay. So if we equip the gun, then we can kill this thing wherever it went. Awesome. Yeah, this is very, very old. Ooh. But you see, I don't think we even, there's a dispenser over here that we have to slowly walk to. But I think you get the idea because I don't want to spend all our time on these demos. The idea is that it was very, very basic and not that great. Right, so let's get back to our feature presentation here. Don't look at those further slides, that's a spoiler. Spoiler alert. Right. So the idea here is have a fully developed and worked on idea before you take it to Magic. Don't just like we'll get into this. There's ways you can get around that, but generally don't do that. Don't do it. Just don't. Pre-production exists for a reason. People skip over pre-production a lot, especially in student projects, personal projects, that kind of thing. But there's a reason you want to develop your idea, because otherwise you get what we just showed right there. So before you think about doing Magic first, right? Here's a lot of alternatives. So first of all, IGM Production Studio. That's a class that I think any major can take. Some of you might have to ask a professor to take it. But like for DVD majors, this is just an advanced selective you can take. And you take it multiple times. It's like twice or 3 times. I think it's twice. And it's basically like a mini version of Magic Maker that you don't get paid for because it's a class. But that'll give you an idea of what Magic Maker is like. And you can also like bring stuff. It's also like if you want to like start an idea there, like that's the place to do it. Like don't do that for Magic, but IGM, like the production studio classes sort of built around like, oh, you start with an idea, you start from zero, and then you work on it for the semester, for multiple semesters, you take it multiple times. And then game jams, they're great. Itch.io game jam page, I love that thing. I never do those game jams, but they're there. But I did not mean to do that. No. Okay. But yeah, game jams. Okay, awesome. We'll get through a presentation without technical hiccups one of these days. Right. So basically, very short amount of time, and when you're done with it, you have a game to work on, right? Like it's not going to be the best. Well, it might be pretty dang good. But generally, like if you do a very short game jam, like a 24-hour jam, after that 24 hours, you'll have a basic project, and that's awesome. And also, I think game jams are one of the best ways to get experience, like just doing game stuff. Like the best way in general to get better at making games is to make games, Like classes will teach you a lot of important, I did it again. I hit the button again. Classes will teach you a lot of important stuff about, like game development best practices, but they won't make you that much better at making games. That's something that you're gonna have to do on your own. And speaking of doing things on your own, an independent study, it's a little like production studio, but it's basically like if you have an idea for a class that's not a class yet, talk to a professor and they'll be like, that's pretty cool. I'll let you do my class. I see Patrick there. We did one together on VR a year or so back. And you can ask your friends to do class with you. I'm not sure if you can do a solo independent study. That's something I'm not entirely sure of, but that's an option if you want to like do a special project, but there's no one class that fits your needs and production studio is not quite for you. So let's go over some more about pre-production, right? You saw this guy in our previous demo. This is our original version of this enemy. We call him the Shadow. I wish we thought of a better name for him before we shipped our game, but that's his name forever. That's my original concept sketch in the corner there, right? And then this is the original block out of the model. And as you can see, he didn't animate it all, right? But then we got a concept artist. Concept art is really awesome, as you can see. So this is like the final design of our shadow, right? And if you want like a cohesive, large scale project, you're going to need some kind of concept art. It doesn't necessarily have to be 2D, but you need an artist, basically. I guess it depends on the scale of your game, but generally, if you want to do a big 3D project like ours, you're going to need a concept artist. Or at the very least, concept art is very, very helpful. Bless you. So here's our guy in 3D, right? So if we go back a couple slides, right? He's not very, he doesn't look anything like sort of what we wanted to. He's like robot skeleton man, awesome. But then we sort of had our cohesive design here. Like our concept artist really brought the concept to life, took a lot of elements of the original sketch and sort of brought that into the design. And then we got our cool final guy. So yeah, pretty nice. And that's our final render of our guy here. Like he's covered in smoke. So yeah, so that's like what happens. Well, you can't see it because of the stupid zoom bar. I'll try and hide that. Yes. There we go. Well, okay. So here's what happens. Like we had like the original sketch, right? But that wasn't enough. And that's what we got out of it. Versus we have concept art, we have a turnaround, and that's our final product is this guy. I wish I had a textured version of this GIF, but I don't. Okay. So yeah, another thing that's important for Magic Makers, moving on from pre-production, is on the production side of things, it focuses on smaller teams. Our team was 9 people large, and like that was a problem, not just in terms of budget, although you'll see that up there. That's a very important point, is that you only get so much money from Magic Makers, and you have to split it between however many people are on your team. So if it's one person, you get, X amount of money. If it's 9 people, you have to split all that money 9 ways, right? And that's not a great time. But like you don't have to split it evenly. So if you have some people working full-time versus part-time, you can pay them differently. And that's sort of what we did for our team, and that worked out pretty well. But I highly suggest like maximum of 3 is sort of what they want you to do with Magic Makers. Like if you do more than that, things go out of hand, especially on the production side. You have to talk to all your team members, get them all on the same page. It is much harder than it sounds to get 9 people in the same room, real to virtual, 1 time a week. Like we could only do it for like half an hour on Wednesdays last semester. It was a pain in the butt. Also, production needs structure. Production is more important than pre-production, obviously. So you want to take your time to develop it. You want to have a good idea of your timeline. Who here knows what an MVP is, just in general? Awesome. So for those of you who don't know, it's your minimum viable product. If you make a project, you want to think about the smallest scale thing you can make. That's still the ideal version of your project. That's still like, it has all the core concepts that you need to have, right? So like, you don't want to like dream big and then not be able to get any of it in. So you want to scope realistically, basically. So yeah, if you haven't like scoped a project very well, Magic will get you to do that because you will have to cut things. Also, we're gonna a little bit about production tools. Who here uses Trello? Another audience participation. Okay, Trello is like, it's a production tool for you and your team to organize tasks, and it basically just helps you look at your backlog of tasks and work on them, over the course of your project. But you have to stick to it. We switched our production tools around. We ended up using Jira at the behest of a team member, and like it was okay. But in terms of having to stick with it, I don't just mean sticking with one tool. I also mean like your production tools are only as good as the people who use them. So if your whole team does not use your production tools, things will fall behind. So producers, hold people accountable, make sure they use their tools. And like, obviously don't be like a mean, rude ass bitch. Don't do that. That's not nice. But if people aren't pulling their weight, you have to confront them about it. Like you can't just say that's okay because deadlines come up and then it's no longer okay. So yeah, you want to make sure that things are happening. And a lot of that comes down to your scope. Like you want a fair scope, you want fair deadlines, but you still have to get people to meet those deadlines sometimes. And also playtest your game, please playtest your game. This goes without saying, but playtest it and playtest it some more. Like the more you playtest, the better your game's going to be. Like that's it. You want feedback. And there's some things that can help you do that. So Rock Game Fest again is one thing we talked about that earlier. That's a great playtesting event if you apply to be there. There's also like an IGM playtesting event. I'm not sure if they're doing that this semester. That's something to consider. And there's also like Crash Test. I think that's a club that meets every week. So it's mainly board game focused, but you can bring your video game. Awesome. Imaginary, it's similar to Rock Game Fest. Another thing. A lot of it is focused on student projects. I've seen a lot of production studio projects in Imagine, so that's something to consider. Also, here, if like for project sharing, you bring up a project and you're like, can somebody come up and help playtest this game? Like that's a great way to get feedback. Your project does not have to be a complete project when you show it here. It can be very heavily in progress, and we can help you, and we can give you feedback. Awesome. And publishing, finally. this is another big part of Magic Makers. Magic Makers focuses on projects that they want people to publish at the end of it on, well, not Twitter. That would be interesting. Somebody please develop a game for Twitter and publish it on Twitter. I'd like to see that. But like Steam and itch are the main ones here, like just on a platform. If you want to publish on Steam, if you want to publish on itch, paid or otherwise, like that takes time and that takes resources and it takes effort. It is not something that you can just second thought, because you have to promote your game if you want people to play it, and you have to make sure you're doing all the things like based on storefront guidelines if you want people to discover your game, even if you didn't directly promote it to them. But also, yeah, you want good socials. That's very important. So I think that's, oh yeah, applications open in October, right? So if you are interested in Magic, or if you are now interested in Magic, again, I highly suggest that you already have a project that you have in mind to take to Magic. But even still, October 3rd, so that's in a little less than a month to consider. And then you have another month to submit. So 2 whole months, but again, please already have a project in mind. You can try, and you can certainly get in. We did. We got in with our very rushed project, but I don't suggest that. That's not the way to do it. But if you must, you have 2 months. Right. So, any questions? Yes.
When you apply to you have to, you said you already have you have to have a team. Okay.
No, you can go in solo. Obviously, working with the team, I personally prefer working with the team to like solo projects, but I'm just one person.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's it. Any other questions? How about on Zoom actually? Oh yes, multiple questions. Or not? No. Trouble flag. Okay. Well, Hudson's talking about wanting to build a team for a project to potentially submit to Magic. Like we mentioned it before, but we have social time at the end of these meetings. So please, if you have an idea, feel free to share it. Even if it's just like Women in Rye, all of you here, I'm going to assume are game developers, whether or not you're in a GED major, or whether or not you have a project you're working on, or whether or not you actually know how to develop a game. You're here because you're game developers. So talk to each other. Yes?
Yeah, maybe if you I mean, I guess even if something's just like a concept, then maybe if you like draft up a if you like draft up a oh, what do they call it? Like is it just a design
Yeah,
document?
design document.
Yeah, just draft up like a 10-page thing or something, 10-slide presentation on your game concept, and you can put it up on the screen during project sharing time.
Yeah.
That would be a good way to pitch your game.
Again, like last time, a lot of people showed off the projects that they finished, but project sharing is for all kinds of projects, whether or not you just started it, if it's just a concept, whether or not, you're halfway through, you want some playtesting, you just want to show off in progress stuff. It can be the gray boxiest gray box to ever exist. That's fine. Feel free to show it, because I guarantee somebody else will be interested here. And as Julia mentioned, we have a looking for members channel in our Discord. So if you're looking for members to work on your project, please feel free to pitch it in that channel. Right. Any other questions on the Makers program or on like the development process? Because there are a couple other developers who work on Personalize here who could also field some questions. Okay, well, yeah.
I just wanted to want to get the conversation rolling. What would you say the most fun part of doing the Magic program was?
Oh, the most fun part of the Magic program. Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, part of it was like just so actually, yeah, this is what I'm gonna answer, is that when you work in Magic, you're not the only project that's there. They do the Magic Maker program every semester, right? So what they do is they take multiple teams and then you're all sort of in the same magic maker cycle together. Like think of it like a game show, like Survivor or something, but nobody gets eliminated. At least I really hope not. If you if you do something to get eliminated from the magic maker program, like in the middle of it, I don't want to know what that would be. You'd have to do something really heinous, so don't do that. But just working with other developers, especially in like the second half of our production where we're working with Uprooted. You may have heard of it. It's from like the former president of our club was working on Uprooted. But like there was only one member of Uprooted who really stayed in the lab with us. But he was a great guy. He was fun to hang out with. We would get lunch together, all the developers who were working there. And that was fun. And I think the most fun we had, at least for me, is just like thinking about, oh, we have to name Rockstar this week. And like there's this sort of mix of like dread and excitement, and like, oh, the fancy, the pros get to see our thing, and oh no, the pros are about to see our thing this week. And it was scary. And that's about every 3 weeks. So like once a month you get the Rockstar vibe check. And it's scary. Yeah. So any other questions going off that of like the maker's experience? Actually, one of my other two developers come up here and also answer that question. Yes. So this is Andrew. Andrew is our main 3D artist, and Will, our UI designer. Right.
I guess talking to my experience, I have to say, sort of going somewhere along the lines of what Chloe mentioned already, but what she enjoyed so much about it. One of the cool parts about having those sort of Rockstar meetings once every 3 weeks is you also get to see what the other teams in the Magic Maker program are working on too, which means you sometimes will just go several weeks without seeing a single update from them, and then you'll see, bam, they've added like 3 new levels and some amazing pixel art animations to go along with it all. And it's in like a 20-page long slideshow where they have GIFs showing off everything they got going on. So it's very interesting to see what other projects work on. It sort of gets your days expanded out beyond just what you've been working on for the past 3 weeks, which is definitely refreshing, I would say, after staring at the same model for 2 weeks trying to test it. That was my experience working on the shadow there. But I have to say, in hindsight, it definitely was a lot of fun to have the chance to work in a student team. There's still definitely an expectation that you'll do well, but you're not beholden to the sort of industry professional standard of sort of work level. You still want to try to meet that as to the best of your ability, of course, but the fact that you're within a student team, or at least for me, is really great for sort of relieving my anxiety about working on a game with a team, basically. So I sort of felt like we're all sort of on a level playing field here. We're all students. We're all kind of figuring out as we go. But certainly a fun experience in retrospect. And working in the Magic Labs is a ton of fun every day. So, yeah.
My favorite part of working in the Magic Center was getting out of the classroom to work on a video game. There are so many differences between the game development in the classroom and what the real thing are like. And the real thing is so much better. I hope that all of you get to experience it. It will definitely give you a confidence boost going back to school and tackling problems. Real game design is nothing like math homework or writing an essay. You don't have to do it the way they would prefer you do it. You don't oftentimes even have a solution that exists at the outset. You just have to wing it and attempt to achieve the result that your art director was asking for. Most of the time, we didn't really have a really strict expectation about what I was supposed to do. I just needed to look into what I could do and figure something out. And that kind of approach felt so liberating that it made working with the vertex buffers fun. And I never thought that could be fun. So the differences in problem solving that you get working on a real game were the best part for me.
And I will add on to that, if you want some more of our postmortem thoughts, if you go to ish.io and you search personalize, there's a PDF included with our postmortem thoughts, because at the end of it, we were like, this sure was a thing we worked on. And we sure did work on it in the Magic Maker program. And this was our first experience making something to this scale. Let's all put down our thoughts, included in a PDF as like a warning or something, like, you know, those nuclear sites where it's like, this is not a place of honor. Sort of like that. Yeah. Any other questions going off that? Because there's some more stuff to show with personalized. Just to show you, like, yes?
I just want to add the playtesting and also this other good stuff to not just your game developer group, which is basically a citywide like organization. They meet at they have Discord here, but you can have it somewhere.
Yeah.
We meet at the Magic building 2 times a month. And we do like this meetups sometimes. And you can just come in, bring a laptop and set up and like get it's really good. I'll talk to you.
Yeah, I think Rock Game Dev's last meeting was actually last night, and they only meet once a month. But Wednesday nights, once a month, be there. I think they meet actually here, not here, but like at RIT in the Magic Center. So yeah, something to consider. But yeah, any other questions before we show some more personalized gameplay, just to show you the evolution of that game?
I guess when we went, we technically weren't in it for just 1 semester. We were technically part of the program for 2 semesters. The first semester we were part of. I think it was after that was the first year they were doing it.
Did I mention the
I
prototype
don't
program?
think you
in this
did.
slideshow?
There's something called the Magic Maker Prototype Edition, which was actually pretty specifically catered to projects like ours, which were, they had demos, but they were pretty, they were lacking in what you would want in terms of completed pre-production. There were some aspects missing that needed like a semester or more of work to be worked on before they could be fully accepted into the Magic Maker program. But in terms of the prototype edition, we still got pretty much all of the boons of working in the Magic Maker program. You could still have the ability to work full time. It could count as co-op credit. It did pay you, although not as much as the full program did. And you still got meetings with Rockstar once every 3 weeks though. So it's a pretty good, program to like, even if you think it's not quite up to snuff, it's not perfect,
Yeah.
I would try to have that foundation in first. That was something we all learned the hard way from our project. But if you think your foundation is there, but your demo isn't quite spick and span and perfect looking, then just you might want to submit it anyway. Maybe you'll make it into a prototype edition. Still get a co-op. So
I actually kind of disagree with the program thought. Bring in the 30 days and getting there and started. And they'll put you in prototype edition because they can see that, but they really don't have you get a lot of experience, even if what you make is kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, and we'll see that. There are plenty of things about final personalized. They're kind of embarrassing, but
But we had more time. I mean, if you only do a prototype edition program.
that's true. That's true. Yes. And yeah, so like,
We turned the ship around, I think, after that.
yeah. But like, yeah, as Andrew was saying, I'm pretty sure it says on one of these slides. You'll see once the slide goes up on our website when that project is complete. But like the prototype program, you get $1,000. Full program, you get $10,000. So it's basically just the difference in money of like how much money do you get paid to work on the project, which isn't that great. Like you get paid less money to work on the same project.
especially if you're
But
splitting it between 9 people.
yeah, if you're splitting $1,000 between 9 people, it's not such a nice prospect. And like you get like $17 in the bank every 2 weeks. It's like awesome. That's a new face. That's cool. But yeah, it's still a great time. Like, because it still counts as a co-op even if you do the prototype program. So even if you're not getting paid, it's still better than like if anybody's heard the entrepreneurial co-ops you can do like over the summer. Those pay nothing. Magic Maker pays Like if you're doing a solo project in the Fireshine program, that's still like $1,000, which is nothing to see that to work on your game for co-op. So something to consider. Any other questions before we do a little bit more gameplay? Okay, and I don't see any on Zoom. So personalized demo 2. Yes. Let's take a look here at the IGM playtesting build. So this was partway through our first semester of production. So I just, yes, I will allow it access. I will let personalized download a Trojan on my computer. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Right. So we have our controls list here. There might be some music. Okay, so this is very different from the previous iteration, right? You can now sprint. That's awesome. We can also hit square and lean, not square, space. Squarespace, not sponsored. No,
No,
this is not even close to final.
I know.
Right. Yeah, so we have our mysterious altar here. Gets lit up there. This is so different from the final product. I forgot. There's this mysterious door. Oh, here's the metal door from before. Completely different. That with the orphaned D there. Oh, you can peer a little in there. Oh, it's in there. Oh, it's a little hard to see. Yeah. Oh, we can crouch. There's some kind of generator. You will not see this in the final product. No. The generator. Right. Oh, that's impossible to read at this resolution. Basically, you could break it if you had a weapon. Oh, yeah. So we have turrets now. That was not in the original build, right? But as you can see, there's another altar here. This required a lot of playtesting. People did not see this altar because they were running past the turret. But yeah, as you can see, these walls are completely untextured, just a random cathedral windows here. So at this point, we decided to just sort of decided that we didn't want a completely industrial environment. Oh, there's the very first iteration of our inventory. It'll be interesting to show what the final version of that looks like. But yeah, so we decided we wanted to go more Gothic, medieval, steampunkish kind of thing. You can see sort of small elements of that. It's really not that well devised in this iteration because we were still working out our visual style, because at this point we did not have a concept artist yet. Oh, and this is the safe room. The safe room that does not appear in the final version, and that we made a lot of assets for that didn't get used. Right, now we can unlock doors now. We can backtrack. Yes, so now we have our safe room. And we've unlocked all 3 of those altars. So as we saw before, the main mechanic is that you switch perspectives, and we're about to get introduced to that. I forget if this is probably still when we had sight pills, right? So this is my horrible programmer art. Here's a magic circle I made in MS Paint or something. And then we have this. The problem here is that you could easily get soft locked because you only have 3 pills and there's no way to get more. But there's these eyes, right? But they only open when you're not looking at them. And there's oof. Okay, we're not gonna look at that anymore. Yeah. So then, as you can see, there's a code here. The 0451 returns, and you can only see it from the 3rd person angle. People did not find this. Also, these coffins. Look at that scale. Ooh boy, not great. Right. So then we put 0451 back in. I'm not sure if the 045, actually yes, 0451 did survive, I think, the entire process. So now we have pistol pills, yes, ooh, the pistol's back. Oh, and there's actually an animation for equipping it this time. And we did nothing to tutorialize, I have to shoot the eye to open the door, but you can. And there's another turret. Oh, and now this one works. So that previous eye was supposed to be broken, right? And it's always open. But as we showed before, those things, they only stay open when you're not looking at them, right? So how do we do that? We turn around, right? And then we can shoot behind ourselves. There's no animation for it yet, but that opens the door. And we can run past this turret, right? And so I forget if this actually, I forget what happens, like how you actually are supposed to open this. Oh, that's right. You can shoot keypads to open them. This that mechanic was not in the final version. And then this is supposed to be our like final set piece, but then we didn't have a boss ready, so it just ends there. Yes. Okay, so that was our IGM playtesting. So that was like midway through fall semester of last year. And then this, I believe, is our first build of the spring semester. So end of end of the fall semester, beginning of spring is our next demo here. Yes. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to shout out while we play through this.
So
Yes?
did you have any like games that inspired this? Or did you find this
Yes. No, this was,
awesome?
yeah. So the question was there anything, oh, here's menu music. Was there anything that inspired this game? The answer is lots of PS2 games, you know, your Resident Evils, your Silent Hills. Because I really like, has anybody here heard of Haunted PS1? Awesome, we got some real ones here. So basically Haunted PS1 is all about making lo-fi games on purpose. So very interesting, like obviously that started towards PS1, but I really like the PS2 era because there were some really, really beautiful games on PS2. I think that's like the perfect level of fidelity for games, and that going beyond that was a mistake. But so that's sort of what inspired that, is a mishmash of PS2 era games, and we sort of wanted to fit that style. Ooh, yeah, as you can see, lots is different here. Same sort of layout in general. But this was the what we got done by the end of that semester, right? Is that we have sort of a different art style. We have lanterns now, like an infinite, it's extending ceiling. The boss room is still there with like the dangling object, still kind of hard to see. Some kind of elevator here. Ooh, but this is our factory. Oh, I can't wait until we should get to the build with like the new crane arms here, but this is our like programmer drill arms, because I think by this point we had a concept artist, but she had only just gotten started. So so things were very early on. We're just gonna run through here because we're almost at time for the presentation portion. But yeah, so as you can see, more of a factory, like sort of combining like, oh, steampunk factory aesthetic. Oh, yeah, the underground crypt, the coffins are a little more to scale this time. I wonder when we're gonna get to the new player model. The new player model was not added until way later. We got rid of the pills and replaced them with these altars that that do the thing. There's the classic code. We would not get rid of this code.
Is there
Anything what?
any significance around that?
Oh, 0451, that is a number with a lot of history. Oh, also,
No, I don't know if it's if this is the place that appeared first, but I know that it made a main appearance as like it's kind of like an intro for like immersive sim developers.
Yes.
I think I know it was originally like the code for like this keypad in the original Deus Ex from the year 2000. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, System Shock is like yeah, and ever since, yeah, anytime you have a game with keypads and multiple ways to get through a level, it's gonna have a keypad with a
yeah, it's a funny door code number, and I wanted to use it, so we did. Here you can see we added these mirrors that you can only see the platforms in. Like we wanted, oh, sight is going to be our big thing. And at the start of development, we were like, we're not going to do a lot of eye imagery. That would be cliche. And look where we are. So I guess just go for it. If you think something's going to be tacky, just go for it. People love tacky. Tacky is awesome. Let your freak flag. Bleh. You get the idea. But yes. So we sort of made that new tutorial section. I think we're going to see the new turret here. But as you can see, some elements stayed the same throughout the development. And I guess to talk a little bit about the Makers program in response to this is like a lot of this is built off of feedback from Rockstar, right? They were like, You need lists of assets, you need concept art, you need blockouts, you need proper tutorialization, and they help a lot with that. Oh, and that, yeah. Do we have dev commands yet? I wonder. No, we don't. So we added dev commands at some point, and we'll see that eventually. Oh, yes. Oh, I don't have any pistol pills. Oh, but there's the new look at our inventory. The map screen that never got finished. Uh, I very much regret thinking we could get that done in any amount of time. Right, but this is the same sort of tutorial. I think it's about time we took a look at like, I think next up, actually, yes, because we got 10 minutes. So about 5 minutes for each version. So this version definitely has step controls that we're gonna look at next. This was our build that we had for Rock Game Fest this past year, Rock Game Fest 2021. And we have a title screen now. Awesome. Let me show the Zoom people our cool title screen. Also, Hudson left. Bye-bye. I'm sorry for not seeing your chat message. Oh, but you'll, if you watch YouTube video, you'll get a fun surprise. But yes, again, you know, a little more polished. We have our cool title screen, our logo, and we started using version numbering, right? And we have title screen music that will go away. Awesome. So we decided to go for like the green and purple aesthetic, right? Very different from before. And we have dev commands. Do we? There's a tilde. Yes, it's tilde to give me dev commands. Slash TP? No, we don't have TPs yet. Slash, I don't remember any of the commands because I haven't worked on this in months. But you know, if we got stuck, that was sort of like, we're gonna talk about that next week, but dev commands and dev teleports and all that stuff, very important. So here's that same factory room from before, but with a lot more of our final things here, right? So we have our arms, lovingly animated by me. This is only a couple of their animations, but like these are final factory arms. This furnace is not final, but as you can see, it's a lot more detailed than before. We have some nice clear pipes with weird liquid in them. I don't know, this doesn't have the spider. The final build will have the spider, and we'll show the shadow in this build too. The final version of like what the shadow looks like. But oh, we have this new like vent crawling section, right? Oh, the open door that closes. It was scary. Our game's supposed to be scary. We forgot to put scary stuff in it, so then we added that in. Oh, this build is very empty. But this room has more stuff. There's our funny door code again. The funny code. Oh, but look, our keypad has the final assets now. Yes. Yes, Will did an awesome job on that keypad. And here's our fun coffin room that we added. With our very nice 2D, like we were going for a lot of like the 2D aesthetics, and then it's like, oh, we had to do a lot of research into what PS2 games actually look like. And this is not the final iteration of this room, but as you can see, like this room was based off of some concept art by Haley. Like at this point, we were working heavily off of concept art, and as you can see, I think our whole build has like a more cohesive aesthetic. Any questions so far that people want to chat out? Yes.
You mentioned the concept of this going about some of them halfway through after
Yes.
I'm guessing you guys
Yes. So she was added like near the end or like the middle of fall semester. Basically what we had to do was we had to talk to Magic and be like, Rockstar said we really need a concept artist. We feel like we really need a concept artist. Can you please pay this person an extra however much for joining our team? And they were like, yes, we'll give you the budget. And so we got a new member on our team. So yes, you can add members. You can also have people who aren't RIT students work on your game if you pay them with your stipend, right? Like Magic gives you the money. You can use the money however you want. You can pay other people with that money to work on your game. And projects have done that in the past. So something to consider. Like if you have professional connections that you can commission for work on your game, you can do that for Magic makers. That's totally okay. All right, so this furnace room, oh, we're blocked off. We have to go get the bullets. Here's our new turret tutorial, right? So it's actually turned off this time to start. But when we pick up these bullets, right, it turns back on. But if I just break these planks here that don't have a breaking animation, we can sneak right past it. And it might see me here. No, I survived. Awesome. So this is our sort of tutorial on like the gun, and here you get to see, I think the animation might work this time. We still don't have our final player model, but yeah, like sort of like, oh, we wanted to do cool stuff with aiming in third person because like you diegetically, like the character knows they're in first person as opposed to like most first person games or like third person games where it's like, that's just sort of what the perspective is like. So as you can see, we wanted to make use of that. Like, oh, you can shoot behind you. It's different. It's cool. And like maybe you agree, maybe not. And then here we have chains. There's nowhere else where chains can break, but you shoot these to break them. And we have our guy up here. Oh, but he's gone. And that's because our boss fight started. And this is what he does. So it's a lot like the original demo, right? Where he's right behind you. And he just sort of follows around. And if we shoot him once, that'll work. He'll actually start attacking, right? So now, oh, we don't see him anymore because we're in first person. So that's sort of the idea of this boss fight, is you're switching back and forth. We never really did get the design exactly as fun as we wanted to because visually, I'm pretty proud with how he turned out, especially compared to that first demo you saw. He looks very different from before. But actually, oh yeah, our inventory is also a little more final than before. So it's like it's taking the form of this like mid-2000s cell phone, a little bit different, a little bit more PS2. We sort of wanted to lean into that mid-2000s aesthetic. But yes, he's not quite dead yet. But as you can see, he's still creeping around towards us. Actually, he will attack us if I let him get close. So, oh, we can't see it. We can't see it. Right. So if he gets close enough, he'll start to attack. Right. Right. So then, yeah, he hit us. He hit us. And it's like, yeah. So that's sort of where we're at there. And I think his thing broke because he's either dead or it just did. As you can see, lots of hiccups still in this version. But we were getting there. We were getting there. We had a sort of cohesive aesthetic. We had our guy. He was made with the concept art. We're getting there. And then our final iteration, as we mentioned before, it's not like the most polished thing on the planet, but it has some pretty neat stuff, I think. And this is our final version. Yes, and then we'll be right up on time, which is perfect because we have more stuff to get to today. Yes. Okay. So final iteration. Any other questions while I get this next build set up? Okay. Awesome. Let me share with the Zoom crew. Awesome. So now we have settings. You can change volume and brightness, and you can change crouch to a toggle instead of a hold if you are so inclined. We're going to turn volume a little bit down. Awesome. But yeah, as you can see, this room, the title screen looks a lot different. Very, very much in its final stage, at least for what we wanted. And let me get rid of this ugly, ugly Zoom bar. But yes, now we have tutorials. We have tutorial pop-up messages, and the Zoom bar is back. That's awesome. Here's the sort of final iteration of our room. Our concept artist, Haley, drew these wall murals. Very nice. Ooh, spider imagery. What could that mean? Oh boy, we'll see. But yes, we sort of have, oh, the final, so we added this sort of like faux 3D mural here, right? So that was sort of like a little PS2 touch we wanted to add, is it looks like an infinitely expanding tower, but it's actually just like a pyramid with a texture on it. Like if we change the angle here, you can sort of see that effect in action. Yeah. Owen's seen this before. He's a liar. He knows what this is.
I didn't know that. I saw it, but I didn't realize that it didn't go on further. So just how it is, right?
I guess so. Here's a little sconce. Our little flame animation. Hunter made that. Hunter's not with us anymore. He's still alive. He just doesn't go to IT. Here's our final version of that furnace that you've seen before. Spikier. We wanted to make it more intimidating. We kept talking amongst ourselves, and it's like, this furnace is not intimidating enough. Make it more intimidating. And this is our sort of final rendition. Here's a place blocked off with chains. Yes. So as you can see, the arms do a couple more of their animations. There's more open space to move around here. Our conveyor belts are a little more gothic looking than before, sort of to tie into our cohesive sort of theme here. That's also based on Haley's concept art. She was our concept artist. And here's our sort of opening to get through. Yes. Hold control to crouch. So sort of that same shaft from before that we can go down. In this room in here is a lot more final. Ooh, you can see that door. But now it opens when you actually enter the room so you can see it, because not a lot of people saw the door close, right? But now you see, oh, the door closes maybe a little too late compared to before. Right, so now we got a tutorial to use this. Oh, and here we have our final version of our player model. Yes. So very different than before. A little, I'm actually not too proud of these animations, but at the time they seemed pretty all right. Our funny door code remains to the final iteration. Oh, actually, this is something we should probably talk about. This visual effect. Getting this motion blur to work was more trouble than it looks like, because this motion blur is not like your regular Unity motion blur. This is like a recreation of like PS2 era sort of like, it's like frame interpolation based motion blur. And we had to use like multiple render textures stacked on top of each other to get the effect to work. And I think it looks really awesome, especially on these glowing numbers. So that was, I'm very happy Will was able to get that working. So we can use our funny door code. We can go back into the final iteration of the coffin room, right? So here it is. Ooh, and there's nice music. It's a lot brighter than before because you can really see very well. And it extends downward. And it does, yeah. So it's like an infinite shaft of these coffins on conveyors. So you have this nice, yeah, Haley made this sort of stained glass. So as you can see, concept art is very important because of this final design. We wouldn't have it without Haley, basically. Oh yeah, the final version of the elevator, it's more like a birdcage this time. In this Dark Souls base, like you step on it, you go up the elevator. I'm not going to show the whole demo because the shadow boss fight is basically the same as it used to be. But I will skip ahead to oh, let's show these teleports actually. If it will let me. Oh, we took the dev commands out of the release build because this is for itch.io. Oh, here's the final version of the turret room, right? So a little more in the way of assets, you know, sort of like a workshop type of feel. We had these little sparkly items you can pick up as well. Yeah, I can hear Will and Andrew talking about reminiscing. I'm gonna die. Let's see, my health is very low. Oh, I have like no health left. Oh yeah, and one is like to equip the pistol, but that's like the final version of the inventory. Is like, we sort of got rid of the idea of like a cool grid-based inventory, and instead we were like, well, you really only pick up pills, that's it. We never did get the final iteration of the healing item in. And also, we made a new version of the turret. If anybody asks on the Discord, I will show you the new version of the turret. But you can see the parts of it on the walls because we were not able to get the animated version in time. But I animated a new version, a new design of the turret based on new concept art. It's very sad that I was not able to make it in. Right, so then we can do our little thing here. And then we'll meet a new enemy that I'm very proud of. Great, so okay. So there we sort of get that. Yeah, the new gun animation. Oh, that's right, the spider's not here. So we can't just go through here like we did before. We need like to backtrack and get the item from this room, right? But now we have this sort of like stealth game enemy here, right? So the design conceit here was like, oh, in third-person games you can look around walls and that helps you with stealth. And we never really got to fully expand on that, but here is our spidery guy. He doesn't look like much of a spider. Well, now he will, right? So he sees you, he turns into a spider, he's much faster, and he'll hunt you down. You know, the idea is like he can see very well, and he can hunt very well in spider form. And he has his little attack animation. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do everything we wanted with this guy. Like, I think he has some pretty decent animations. I'm not biased. I had a comment, question? Yes. Yeah, I'm very proud with how the spider turned out. Yeah, okay, now he should die. Yes, he's dead now. Awesome. So then we can backtrack. Well, that's about it in terms of like new stuff. Like everything from before is sort of like, oh, that's what we did before. But as you can see, a lot more assets here, our spider murals, all thanks to Haley. So I guess it's sort of just like the knock-on effect of concept art is that it made everything a lot more cohesive throughout our game, right? Like before there were a lot of weird different elements, like, oh, there's a turret here, but then there's like church windows here. But now everything's like, oh, there's turrets, but it's in a more cohesive style. Oh, there's these like conveyor belts and stuff, but now they look like they're like from medieval castle conveyor belt kind of thing. So that's what like a cohesive vision and like direction will get you. Something to consider. So that is personalized. Any final questions before we move on to the next stuff for our presentation? Because we're not quite ready for project sharing. But any final questions from anybody here about Magic Maker, about personalized, anything? Okay, so now it's time for our election. We mentioned this last week, we mentioned it in the Discord. The event coordinator actually, do we have both participants here? Yes, okay. I see two people here. Awesome. So now it's time for you to give your speeches. So who would like to go first? So there's Ronan, that? Yes, would you like to go first?
Why not?
Okay, so I'll let you, yes, I will let you speak into the Zoom mic.
Where is it?
Just my laptop.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Ronan. Some fun facts about me. I'm from the Caribbean. My favorite game of all time is Eco. Don't know, has anybody heard of that game? It's a really, really good game. But yeah, I'm very interested in doing the event coordinator program because I'm a freshman and I want to get involved with as many things as possible, explore what I like. And yeah, I really like games. If we're presenting our resumes in terms of event coordinating, probably one of the most proud things I've done is basically back at home, there's this thing called the Youth Training Center. It's like, okay, it sounds terrible. It's a prison for kids, essentially. And what happened is I made a fundraiser and we purchased a PS4 for the kids. I thought that was pretty cool. And oh yeah, I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
We got a Zoom comment here. Do we have another? Yes. Okay. So that leaves Owen, our other member, who's running for event coordinator.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Owen. I guess if you were here for the last meeting, you might have met me. I guess I've been working as, I guess, acting event coordinator. Because I actually ran in the election last year, but the person who won, who was not me, transferred colleges. So I got the position by proxy, and that's why we're holding the vote to do it for real. So I guess, yeah, I guess I'm a sophomore in the game design and development program. Let's see, I guess just as a question, how many of you are in the co-op preparation workshop? 9:30 period. Yeah, so we got a couple of you. So for those who don't know, I sometimes when it's relevant in the class discussions, I'll shout out our meetings for our GDC. So I guess that might I don't know, shows that I have like I like this group. I want it to succeed. I want people to come in and learn cool presentation stuff about games. And let's see, I guess I I don't have too much experience with like leadership positions, but I guess I have in the past done, I guess, 5 years of working on the first robotics team. I was on the business sub team, and I helped out with a lot of like emotional art and things like that. So I can help out doing that for the team. I know we already have a bunch of like artist-centered people on the leadership team, or on the yeah. But yeah, I'm also fairly decent at video editing, so I can help out with like fun promotional videos for like I guess if you were there for last year's game jam, there was a video not done by me, but I could help do similar things like that. I guess let's see. I don't know. I am willing to commit a lot of my time to I guess helping out with, or I don't know. I'm willing to take on whatever responsibilities Chloe and the others need from me to help coordinate events. And I guess that's I guess we're actually roommates, so that might help with the like that might make it easier for us to coordinate events, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm just listing off things at this point, but if I guess if you vote for Owen, then I'll try and make that a win for the whole club.
Okay, well, with that, those are our two speeches. So now I'm gonna send a Google form in the Discord. Please, everyone, no, not further sharing yet. Yes, send this. If you have the Discord, huh? Yeah, vote for option 3. Actually, don't vote for option 3. I think so too. Right.
If you
So
vote
this is
for
good.
option 3, that'll be a vote for having another election.
Please don't do that. There's no more option 3. Awesome. So we're not gonna look at this one go. This one goes secret. Right, yes. So the coordinator moving form. Yes. So vote now. It's on Discord. Yes. And we can see the results in real time. Yes. Cool. So we'll close this in a couple minutes because we're all here. A few minutes, a couple minutes. That's a different definition for everybody.
I just want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to do.
That's true. It wants to be a fair election. Unfortunately, we did not prepare isolated stickers. Maybe next time. Maybe for next semester, because that's when we usually hold our election for the whole e-board. We'll have RGBC iVote stickers. So be there. Be square, I guess. Also, let me get the lights actually. Presentations. Okay. So we have. So who here is not voted yet? Who's not put their cast their vote? Okay, we got one person. Okay, we got a couple people still voting. How about on Zoom? My Zoom crew. Is everyone still here voted? I believe so. Awesome. Okay, yes. That's true. While we wait for those final votes, does anyone have a project to share today? Julian, I see a hand. Okay. So I'm guessing this is Godot. He's going to show his fun Godot project.
What else?
I don't know. I don't know what you're up to, Julian. Okay. So Julian only does Godot all day, every day. Yes. Well, I'll wait for Julian's project to boot up. Do we have any more projects to share? And remember, we said. Maybe I should have added option 3. Okay, so Julian's coming up to share his project. Awesome. So the mouse, yes. Okay.
Thank you. What is your resistor?
I don't know, resistor.
Yo, that resistor. I guess can't resist.
Just don't forget to join the Zoom meeting so you can share your project.
Oh, yeah, I don't have Zoom.
It has a web version.
Was it?
Yes.
I guess it's really related on, but
Say you want to record the episode.
Yes.
How should we go about doing that? Like, we want to advise these people, like, is there anybody that could like contact the video? Is there like other content that they would look into? Is there anything that you guys know about?
So I guess I'll answer
Yeah,
first.
Yeah.
I have very little experience with live music and games and such. Well, I guess Julian is a member of the Orchestra, so you can probably answer that part of the question better. But there are places in Magic and in Valsano that are like recording labs, where you can reserve them and record whatever you want. So if you want to play the music yourself, then yes. But if you want to like have live music, like I don't know if you're thinking of like original compositions or something. Like first you're either gonna have to compose that or like get a composer, and then you're probably gonna have to pay people to play the music. So just something to consider. But I haven't really had much experience with that.
most thing I'm worried about is just like figuring out if I can actually do that. Like if there are groups around that I could possibly, pay or whatever needs to be done to get this. I just want to know if there were options.
Yeah, the Games for the Orchestra would definitely be open if you like ask them. I think they have a Discord. I don't know if they normally do that, but there's a lot of people at RIT who do like music. So if you ask around, there's going to be people who are like, right. They got access.
Awesome.
I don't have screen share.
I will give you screen share. Yes. Okay. Yes. There. You should have screen sharing capabilities. And we're not seeing anything. Okay.
I know. I'm moving.
Okay. I have to stop my sharing first.
Share the other screen. So you can see that screen. You should be able to see that screen. Yeah. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Um, yes.
Okay.
Still
So,
some Zoom pickups. Look up there,
oh, this resolution is back. Okay.
and then the lights off.
Can I just,
You just flip over.
can I turn these off? Okay.
Yes, you can dim them, but just flip those two off and it'll be fine.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, if you, just both down will work. There you go.
I don't want to be that
Not
dark, but
work.
whatever.
You can be complete dark.
Okay. So this is a game I'm working on. What's the mouse? So, so you can see that it is so it's let me get past the board. Basically, yeah, it was a kind of like story stuff and it's the story. So this part, basically, the difference is there are two AI. They're not actually AI, just in they're AI. And these little terminals here, click on them. View stuff. That's something you need with AI. And so you can't access what's so all of these are connected to like stuff like databases and like things like that. But you can't look at all that directly. So you have to talk to the AI in order to access it. And so here you need first AI. The fake blue one is the AI. And that can respond. So yeah, and the story things. And the main thing that I've been working on since I've done a lot of sort of like sorts of like how much of that. The main thing is the menu. So I think that's all animations for when you. Oh, okay, that's slowly. And it'll already have full screen. And facility options. So if you want, you can set your files really small, you can set it really big. Now if I click on the font size, I can go and change and make it smaller. Replace it with that font. Because I don't if this probably harder to do. So might as well go on basis. Yeah. In order to do this, they also have hover like nice like everything. And it was really great for this. It was amazing line. Like really needs to catch up with my tools because I'm really bad. Like tool thing is like everything like you want to cover. I didn't even know community as a feature. So little that basically do most things on these journals and you talk to the eyes and there's like it's sort of like it's all about like talking to one information on the other and it's all about like those stuff like talk to the AI's information and what one they have those the other might not know. So like this tell them more information that they don't already know and people able to track that and the story. So yeah. So this state by 40 model which is a teleporter. You're not And I talked to the first day out, and they've like, oh, this is interesting. So normally I don't even have the first two options. So like, oh, yeah, I need help. And they just give me the, like, okay, fine. But I come back with knowledge. See, I already have the option. Okay, so just for the center eye. And then they get interested in the center. So I can go to and now I can talk to both of them. So here's the talk first. They tell me what I'm like that now. They tell me what I'm- and it doesn't take information. It just expresses it. It's like, yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm got it. So I'm not afraid, like, so, yeah, we're on that. It wasn't fun, but so you can see that it was like really like this. So you know, very introspective. You know, high concept stuff. Um, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's so bad. And they're not about it. Try not to think too far about that. So we also have missing sounds. It is partly that is one inspiration. Um, basically, that the game also was based off manga playing which has like a style and from other stuff. Um, so I pulled it to go like pretty much exactly a year ago. Like before that, I probably and a whole dialogue system. So I can show you. So that's really small, but this is the dialogue system. So basically like node based. And this is like really it was impossible to make any other tools for this. Like it was taking like all the development time. I switched to Go in like 2 days, and I've been using the system ever since. So I just worked great. So I'm going to just expanding it might need to adding new features. So that's what I'm using. Any other questions or things? Use Godot until you get. We're going to show you that. Also, if you want to help out, I do need help. So I do have one person helping me with art, but we're both very busy, so it's hard to like work on the game. Yeah. Well, I mostly need like art help, like 3D modeling, but you know, I'll take any if you can do programming, whatever. I don't care. So yeah, just putting that out there. But yeah, that's about it. Look around. It is sort of fake fighting. Not really.
Thank you, Julianne.
Are still listening.
Thank you, Julianne. Yeah, let's, oh, ouch, my eyes.
Sorry. You guys can deal with it.